So let's start with this car. I think its appearance is actually a bit of a disadvantage. The modeling style of this fluid sculpture actually challenges the traditional Chinese aesthetics. For example, a high-quality imitation of a Porsche. For example, the Czech 001. That size looks bigger, rounder and upright. It is also a coupe-style design. All of them are more capable of touching the aesthetic nerves of Chinese consumers. But this car is the first one. It's not too big. Its body length, width, and height are 4,931, 19,601, and 474. Wheelbase 2950. Compared with these data, Czech 001 is slightly shorter. It is not dominant in the sense of visual volume. Add to that the car, you see this style of fluid sculpture. You can't find a straight line all over your body. The circle, the arc, all kinds of these curves to form one of its designs. Older people may not be able to accept it, but the other way around. This design style must be highly recognizable, and we especially encourage Chinese brands to do original designs. I don't know if you've noticed it now. Doing original design is actually an increasingly difficult thing. Because in all this chain of gas development, the design seems to be the simplest. However, what often has the greatest proportion and directly affects the market performance of a car is its design. Therefore, those who can still insist on maintaining the original and authentic original design in the Chinese market. All Chinese brands, we should all like it. So let's look at the appearance next. This car has several characteristics. First of all, this car is a full series. There is a light off. All systems come standard. Second, our car is a single motor version of its rear drive. The power data is unknown, but its 100 kilometer acceleration is 14.9 seconds. It is also a very performance-oriented version. Let's take a look at its tires. I used a 19-inch Hankook tire with Continental brake calipers. Meanwhile, the diameter of the brake discs in the front and back of the brake disc is very large, visually at least 35 centimeters or more. 24 front tire widths, rear tire width to 75. This is the typical logo of a very performance car, to distinguish between its four-wheel drive and two-wheel drive versions. In fact, it is very distinguishable in appearance. The four-wheel drive version uses that pedal tire. And this two-wheel drive version has those banner-shaped wheels, but I think this banner wheel, it has a blackening effect. It looks more performative. We can see 3 high-definition cameras here, including here. And the images captured by this camera are really high definition. At the tail, the design aesthetics of its fluid sculpture should be more vivid. You see it has a naturally raised ducktail. It seems to have a smooth transition. It's not obtrusive, so there's a depression. Down again, bulge again, sag again, stacked like this, stacked like this. I think the design of the rear of the car is quite a plus. The other interesting thing is that this piece also uses a through taillight. But its taillights here, it can display a richer lamp language. And I leaned over and looked at the chassis. At this edge part, you see, it should be a kit of empty equipment East Learning, right? It can play a certain role in suppressing the wind. But we lean down and see the gold content of its chassis. Compared with LS6, L7, it still shrinks a little bit, because its spring tray was replaced with cast iron. But the croissants are still. It's aluminum alloy. The front wheels use aluminum alloy double fork arms, because the suspension of the entire double wishbone takes up more space. So it doesn't leave a big front bin. There is only a small space. And there was this tripod and all that. And after opening it, what about after opening it? It has a real hatchback trunk. Even after putting the rear seats down, it can also form a flat floor. This is its fast charging port. What about this 83-degree battery version? It can charge 510 kilometers in 15 minutes. Like that more expensive long-range version, it can charge 610 kilometers in 15 minutes. So the charging speed of this car is still very fast. In addition, this kind of hidden handle, compared to the one that is tilted up unilaterally, it still needs to be more convenient to use. Frameless doors. All 4 doors are double-pan soundproof glass. You can also see a camera here. There is also a camera on each of the B-pillars of the main and co-pilot. In addition, how does it open? What about its opening method? Click to open with this card key. There are also 78 measured heights. The head in the front row has 1 punch and 4 fingers. The head in the back row has 4 fingers. What about the front legroom? About 30 centimeters. What is particularly well received is that its front and rear seats are made of foamed materials. Sitting up is very soft. And the cushions of the second row of seats are tilted up. It can be seen that the support for the entire thigh is very good, and I'm sitting on it, and my legs are kind of going down vertically. Get into the cockpit of this car. As soon as you come in, the feeling is that its light luxury style is still very prominent. For example, its large number of soft bags, including here, it should be made of solid wood to the touch. Also, its cockpit style is the same as the appearance. It doesn't have a straight line. It's all curves. It is the same as L6. It also uses this large full floating screen, including the small vertical screen in the middle, a T-shaped layout, a semi-floating steering wheel. The whole car has 20 stereos surrounding the top of the head, including this circle below. The entire sound system. Let's start by looking at the urban NAV function of this GG-L6. The pre-sale price of this car starts at $230,000. The whole system is equipped with LiDAR, can support NOV. However, its NOV is still based on high-definition maps. By the end of the year, it will be the whole system that will evolve into a map-free smart driving. Let's first feel this set of NOA that relies on high-definition maps. Now we are walking in a section of the old city of Shanghai, when we saw the meter ahead with the word NOA flashing on it. Now you turn your gear lever down. After turning blue, it has audio prompts. Then it automatically enters the self-driving state. Now the whole system is helping me drive this car. At present, this road section is very complicated. There were no wires on the ground. Then there are pedestrians and motorcycles on both sides wearing random clothes. Let's see how safe it is. You see, the whole movement is still very light and skilled, including the oncoming car. There is an overlap between me and the front of his car. He's going to lean to the right to avoid. Then when crossing the zebra crossing, I could feel his kick, intentionally or not. There is a car coming out in the front left. He also stopped. Then wait for the car to leave before driving. Including the motorcycle on the right is coming. Including the car on the left. Whoops, 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 okay. That car here wants to check my way. When he is farther away, after letting him complete the turn calmly, let's move on again, or we will continue to move forward. When turning left, he will automatically turn on the left turn signal, and then in front of me on the left, it will project the image. The whole turn is still done very smoothly. Okay, found out at this time. It's safer in the back. He changed his ways. But I didn't expect another bus to be plugged in ahead. When it crosses the intersection, it is a little hesitant, or there is a little hesitation. Maybe this calculation is relatively large. Perhaps the calculation amount is quite big, so its reaction is also slightly slower. There is a lot of information displayed on this LCD meter. Pedestrians, bicycles, including the car, wear our underwear back and forth. Indeed, the computational test of it is very large. It automatically recognizes traffic lights. Okay, now the traffic light turns green. It will also start automatically. The road surface in the old city just now was very complicated, but the whole system is relatively comfortable. Except once it went the opposite lane, because there are no lines on the ground. Block the opposite car. After we intervened, the other processes are basically completed by the system, and the whole process is still very smooth. After opening this set of NOA, you only need to keep 10% of your attention, including the brakes at the red light. The whole braking process is also very linear and natural. Then let's talk about the dynamic driving experience of this car with everyone. Well, this car of ours is a rear-wheel drive version with an 83-degree battery. We have 3 people in the car now. Let's show you how it works. Switch to power saving mode. Come and give everyone a kick. Come and go.
After 700 meters, turn right at the second traffic light. Please go straight ahead at the traffic lights.
You can also see from the shaking of my body just now. Its entire torque release is very linear. We adjust to sport mode. I'm going 50. The whole dynamic got very grumpy. I even think there is a slight head lift, because it's rear drive. The whole feeling has a clear adhesion between the front wheel and the ground, significantly reduce the direction, or clearly reduce the direction. At that moment though, it seems that I can't hold it. Let's feel it again in the comfort mode. Hey, walk at rest. Wow. I think its comfort mode is violent enough. In fact, you have to drive comfortably every day. I suggest you just adjust to the energy saving mode. The whole power outburst is pretty much in line with your driver's expectation. It's more comfortable to drive, less prone to motion sickness. No matter whether it is in sports or festivals, in energy saving mode, the steering damping of the whole steering wheel is actually about the same. They are all relatively tight and hard. Juji is a very interesting brand. It has come out with 4 cars, including this one. All 4 cars place a lot of emphasis on mobility. Pay more attention to the driving feeling. Pay more attention to handling. In addition, this set of semi-floating steering wheel does indeed take a relatively long time to adapt to, especially when you are used to turning around. Hit the steering wheel continuously like this. It turns very much larger than it should, just you turn it lightly. You feel like the wheel will turn a lot. You see, we're on the big curve here. I move so gently, maybe 2 or 3 degrees, the whole direction is turned. You don't need to do a lot of this steering. The car can find a more suitable angle to enter according to your intention. Another advantage of a semi-floating steering wheel is that it doesn't block the line of sight, including the LCD meter in front of you, including the road conditions ahead of you, all unblocked. So the whole view of this car is very good. Finally, let's talk about its chassis suspension damping, which is also adjusted to be more resilient. It's not particularly soft. When it is too big, you will feel that the large bounce can be quickly stopped. 2 other small details are quite good. There are 2 other small details that are quite good. The first one is this whole screen. That's a lot of information. The effect of 3D conformation is very good. You can do this on the screen with the LiDAR overhead, including cameras and radars around the car. The surrounding road conditions can be displayed to you very clearly and objectively on the screen. It fits well with reality. Full of this sense of technology is coming. Also, when you turn on the turn signal, It will display the real-time image of the side and rear to you in time. If you turn the wheels on the steering wheel, it will show you the image directly behind. And the image effect is very clear. This car has a new skill point upgraded. It's when you drive out and drive yourself. It allows you to take real-time images through the cameras around the car. Sometimes without your knowledge, it will also automatically shoot for you. Then it will be edited automatically, generate a vlog for you. I'll pass it on to you then. Hey, I have a surprise for you. I think this is a very good benefit point for users. And the entire electrical field is very quiet. Let me give you a listen. Hey, look at the sound of its entire electric drive. It doesn't have that woohoo, that motor current sound. So the whole car is driven down, apart from the fact that I'm not quite satisfied with the slightly high sitting position. I really can't find too many faults elsewhere. Then their own official sources also told us this car, its solid-state battery version, is coming soon. After loading, it can achieve a pure electric battery life of 1,000 kilometers. So, this car gets 800 volts from the battery, including intelligent experience. I guess so. Achieve this level of top flow after today's experience, or based on today's experience. I think this car is very easy to drive first. Momentum is very dynamic. Steer very closely, especially its semi-floating steering wheel. It smells like a racing car. And then there's smart driving. All systems are equipped with LiDAR as standard, including very mature algorithms. We briefly experienced it in the old city of Shanghai. Of course, it is not as skilled as the old driver. Still seems a little cautious and conservative, but its reliability has at least been proven. Finally, from the static design of the whole vehicle, it's the atmosphere of the cockpit and the comfort of the whole thing. I think this car, at its price, it is indeed a top level at this price. In my opinion, this car has two slots. The first is the overall design. It's a little hard for me at my age to accept. The second is that the sitting position of the driver is a little bit high. Of course, this is the problem of electric cars. It's not just him. I don't think I can find too many faults in other aspects, although I complain about his design. But I will say, in the end, we must adhere to original design for all, adhere to their own style of Chinese brands. In particular, new energy vehicles should be praised. To support from this point of view, I think I still recommend that you come and have a good experience with this car at the same price. Whether you are a novice or an experienced driver, this car can be used in a way that you are most familiar with.